This is an exciting effort that we're about to launch, and I know it's not exactly cool in here, so we're going to move this program swiftly, but I do want to make sure everybody has a chance. And to all of you who've taken the time to be here, I see a number of legislators and members of my cabinet here, and judges from the federal bench and the state bench. Thank you all for being here with us. Today we're kicking off something very exciting, and I'm about to sign a Justice Reinvestment Working Group executive order, because it's time that we come together as a community to examine our criminal justice system and move us towards a more data-driven, outcome-oriented system where I believe in the end we can save money, bring about justice, and help folks get reintegrated into the community more effectively and efficiently. Last week, the Speaker and I were together, right here actually. I signed into law our budget, which put forth our jobs plan. And the point of that, and my mission as governor, is to make Rhode Island an opportunity for everybody. Nobody left behind, an opportunity for everybody. And that is what today is all about. You may know also in that budget, there was a big focus on Medicaid. Rhode Island has the second highest enrollee costs in the country in Medicaid. And we got together a broad working group of folks called ReInventing Medicaid, and we tackled that issue, and we tackled that problem, and we put forth to the General Assembly, and they passed a sweeping Medicaid reform that I believe is going to make Rhode Islanders healthier, take care of our most vulnerable, and bring down costs. And now we're going to take that same approach to criminal justice reform. We have made many of you in this room actually have been part of the important reforms in Rhode Island over the past decade in our criminal justice system, in our sentencing system, but there's more work to be done. And similar to Medicaid, we're spending too much money and not getting the outcomes that people deserve. And so that's what this is about, putting together a broad group of stakeholders in a committee from across the criminal justice system to study the issues and put forth to me and the General Assembly at the end of the year a set of recommendations. Right now in Rhode Island, we spend nearly half of our public safety dollars on corrections. Half is on the correction system, and only a very small percentage on probation and parole. 1 in every 44 Rhode Island adults are on probation supervision. And in the city of Providence, that number is 1 in 21. That's the third highest rate in the country. You've done a lot of great work over the past decade, but with the third highest rate in the country, we have to do more. And the reality is too many people are returning to prison for new crimes or technical violations. We aren't equipped to help people with mental illness and addiction. Ever increasing numbers of folks with mental illness and addiction. We have to make sure they get the care they're needed to avoid incarceration. Saves money, is humane, is the right thing to do. And like the rest of the country, we need to take a hard look at racial disparities and figure out, and looking at who we're arresting and who we're putting behind bars. We have to commit ourselves to looking at that and studying that. We have to make smart investments to break the cycle of crime and incarceration and improve public safety. We need to do more, we need to do better, and we need to do it now. And you know that. That's why you're all here. I'm looking around this room. You're all committed to this issue in your own ways. And you know we need to do it now, and I'm grateful for you for showing up. The focus and the approach needs to be on using a data-driven approach and doing what works. Not doing what we think works, not doing what we've always done, not doing what our gut tells us to do, looking at the data and doing what we know works. As I said, we can improve our criminal justice system, make it fairer, more just, and more efficient, and save money. We have to do this by doing a few things. Number one, ensuring our limited resources are focused on the most serious crime. Number two, reducing recidivism and addressing racial disparities. And number three, improving the treatment of mental illness and substance abuse. And collaboration is key, which of course is why we're bringing together this group of stakeholders. So today in a couple minutes, I'll be signing an executive order to establish Rhode Island's Justice Reinvestment Working Group. We're going to bring together leaders from all branches of government, executive, legislative, and judicial branches of government, as well as federal government officials to engage in this effort. And we're going to work in partnership with the Council of State Governments Justice Center, the U.S. Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Pew Charitable Trusts. We'll use data and we'll analyze what's working around the country. Now here's our goal. The goal is to identify reforms that will simultaneously improve public safety and reduce costs by doing the things that I've mentioned. Focus on the most serious crime and focus on mental illness and addiction. And here's the reality. We have to direct our resources more effectively in the probation and parole system as well. The fact of the matter is, if you're trying to supervise everyone, you're not really supervising anyone. And we have to take a hard look at that. We can do a more effective job at keeping Rhode Islanders safe if we focus on those individuals most likely to commit or recommit a violent crime. Too often, and I know there's a few judges in here, so you know this better than I do, too often we're using the criminal justice system to paper over the actual root cause of somebody's problem. And prisons, I see AT here, prisons become a revolving door because we're not treating the mental illness, we're not treating the addiction, we're not treating the substance abuse, we're not treating the poverty, we're not treating the racial disparities, we're not treating the root cause. They wind up in and out of jail. It costs money, it tears our society apart, and this working group's trying to figure out effective ways to fix that. And we also can't have a serious discussion about reforming our criminal justice system without addressing the racial disparities that too often plague the system and that aren't fair. This whole nation needs an honest discussion about that, and I'm proud that we as Rhode Islanders are coming together in this task force to kick it off. So this won't be easy, but I remember when we kicked off the Medicaid working group, everyone thought that was a little crazy too, but it worked. You know, Marie Ganem smiling in the back. It worked. So this is an enormous undertaking. I realize that. I'm asking you for a lot of commitment and a lot of hard work. But if we want to keep our families safe, and if we want to keep our communities safe, and if we want to invest taxpayer dollars more effectively and efficiently and with the greatest outcome, then this is, I believe, the right way to do it. Not to quickly dash something off, but to take 6 months to bring everyone together, look at the data, look at what other states are doing, and commit ourselves to a very thoughtful reform. So that's why I'm citing this executive order. And in a month or two from now, you'll be saying, oh, I'm working hard and I don't have a lot of time and this is another thing on my plate. That's why you're doing it. Because Rhode Island needs you to do it and our families need you to do it. I have to say two special thank yous. One to Supreme Court Chief Justice Paul Sattel and one to former Superior Court Associate Justice Judy Savage. We're both here. They're going to say a few words. They have graciously agreed to co-chair our working group, and I can't thank you enough for doing that. I know how busy you both are, but your leadership is going to make a huge difference to this effort, and I'm grateful for it. The last thing I'll say is we are going to commit ourselves to a data-driven approach, and there will be a lot of specifics and technicalities as we study parole and study probation, but just remember this. At the end of every statistic, 1 in 21, 1 in 44, how many people we have on parole. At the end of every piece of data is a human being, is a person who deserves a fair shake, who deserves an efficient, effective, honest criminal justice system, and who deserves another chance. So through our work, remember that. This is about families and people who deserve a system that works, and about taxpayers who deserve their money to be used effectively and efficiently as possible. So I'm excited. It's a big effort, it's a heavy lift, but this crew is up for it, and I am up for it also.